this is Cindy Crane the Heart, and today I'm going to be sharing some cards. We're going to make them together on Kendra's card challenge number 11. So Kendra, she puts out these card, I guess what would you call them, sketches every 3 months, and so you can join in and you can win a prize, or you just join in as a way to use up scrap, as a way to kind of regenerate your mojo, which is the main reason why I do them, is to kind of get a little jump start on, lack of mojo. Sometimes, you're just looking at a bunch of product and you're like, what do I do with it? So I just decided that it would be fun to go ahead and do it using some products from Not Too Shabby Shop. And so I'm going to go over the products that I'm using, and then I'm going to go ahead and make them all. And if I edit this video correctly, then I will be just speeding it up and maybe putting music to it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm still learning my editing software. And I'll be showing you each card that I'm making, where it comes from, so you can see that. But the way that I prepare for doing this, because you end up making 15 cards, is I lay out 15 card bases. So I do 5, and then 5, and then 5. So it's 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15. And then I cut, so it tells you how to cut. And it tells you what card it goes to. So then I just place the pieces onto those cards. The one that I've designated as card 1 gets this piece, and so on. So that then I have, at the end, I have 15 cards with some pattern paper on them. And it takes 6 sheets of pattern paper. And then once I've cut my 6 sheets of paper and I've laid them down on the cards that they go to, then I take the first stack of 5, and then I kind of figure out how I want to actually make a card with those. In this case, I'm using a lot of the ephemera, which is a great way of using the Not Too Shabby Shop ephemera. Or if I wasn't going to do that, I've done a Kendra's card challenge before where it was a mixture of stamped images and ephemera. And so it's kind of, I did some stamped images, mostly sentiments. And then I kind of decide if I want to replace pieces with other die cuts and so on, and I do that sort of individually. And the cards usually require other pieces of paper. So in this case, I used black cardstock for all my cards, and I also used additional pattern paper from the paper that I'm using, the B-side, what I call the B-sides. So the more plain paper, the more solid paper, instead of trying to find another solid, is kind of what I did. And so that's kind of how I do these. And so we'll come back to this in a second. But let's go into what I used. So the products that I'm using for this is all from the recent Not Too Shabby Shop subscription box. And so I am using this stamp set, which is called Just a Little Note. And I stamped the images out, but I didn't use them, I think, for this. I'm using them for a future card. I used a lot of the ephemera. I have a lot of ephemera left still. At the end, I'm probably going to be using some enamel dots, or during, I'm not sure, but I've got those there. I believe that one of the cards asked for a tag. I replaced it with the Not Too Shabby Shop tag. And then this is a clipboard die. And again, I replaced one of the pieces of pattern paper. I ended up cutting it with this die and using the clipboard die. And then here is its whole time. So I'm definitely going to have to make some cards, because all these pieces are just all over the place, all the scrap. And this is not a good way to store it. It's going to be all over the place. So I'm going to try and, use this up. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and making the cards. I also am using some different, what would you call this, different glue. I've got the Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive, and then I have my Barely Arts. So we'll see what I decide to use. Okay. This is all the cutting. And so you could just go to Cards by Kendra. I don't have the website on here, I don't think. But you can go to her website, just search Kendra's card challenge, and it'll pop with card sketches and it'll pop right up. In order to put your cards into the giveaways, you have to take a photo of all 15 cards and put them in the Facebook group. So that's kind of how you do it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to set aside my ones I'm not going to be using right away. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started.